This is David Stringer, publisher of Prescott eNews. I'm here today to introduce a new feature on Prescott eNews. We're calling it Book Talk, and we're going to have a host by the name of Lizzy McNett, who is the founder and owner of a local publishing house called Writers Publishing House here in Yavapai County. She's here with us today. Lizzy, thank you for being here and welcome to Prescott eNews.
Thank you, David, for having me. I'm glad to be on Prescott eNews with you.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to this new feature. We haven't done this before, but I have a deep interest in books and literature, and I know this is your business. So I'm glad we met and that we decided to start this new venture. So to begin with, why don't we tell our viewers a little bit about you and give you an opportunity to sort of introduce yourself to our audience.
Absolutely, David. But before we do that, we got to back up for a second.
Go.
I have a quick story that I need to tell everyone.
Oh, fine. I love stories.
It kind of tells you a little bit about who I am.
Go.
When I was raised and trained horses all my life. So when I was a kid, I had a riding instructor. His name was Lightning Leonard Moore. I was 13 years old. He was just an incredible rider. And every year, Arizona used to have the A to Z Arabian Horse Show. And Sunday nights, at the end of every show, at Sunday night, I believe it was, at the end of the whole show, they had what they call was a rack class. And if you don't know anything about horses, when a horse racks, at one point in time, all 5 feet are off the ground.
I've actually been to the Arabian Horse Show. It used to be an annual event down in Scottsdale.
And I mean, they're all over the world, all over the country, people came. So Leonard always taught me that, you make a decision, you get off the fence, and you go for it. So this was my first year that I had experienced this. We get to the last show of the event, and everybody's up at the ring, the grandstands, everything is packed, the lights are on, it's dark, everything is just set. All the horses are in the ring. A few seconds go by, Leonard's a no-show. So the announcer calls him again. There's still a no-show. Last call, they say. Leonard Moore, please come to the ring. We're waiting for you. A few seconds go by, and pretty soon you hear this, the whole crowd awes. And through the crowd, they split, and here comes this beautiful black stallion with flowing mane. It gives me chills even to this day.
And you've got 10,000 people sitting under the big tent at that point.
And he comes through the crowd at a full rack. Through the ring he goes, and as he's passing me by the gate, he looked down at me and said, "That's how it's done."
Wow.
And afterwards, after the show was over, I asked him, what did that mean? And he said, "You're either first in life or you're last in life. But whatever you do, you make an impression. You go full force, whatever it is you're going to do." And it really, David, it really made me the person I am today. I'm passionate about what I do. And I really just loved him, as a kid. It just, like I could see it, it was yesterday.
So that's been sort of one of your life mottos, is to be, whatever I do, I'm all in.
Yes. My motto, one of my favorites is, if you want to predict the future, then create it. Thanks to Abraham Lincoln. And I firmly believe that.
Great. That's a tremendous anecdote. Thanks for sharing that with us. But again, a little bit more detail about your background. How did you end up here in the local area? I think you're actually headquartered out in Chino Valley, if I'm not mistaken.
In Paulden, actually.
In Paulden, okay. And how did you develop yourself and end up in the book publishing world?
So I was raised in Cave Creek, graduated in high school up there. I spent a few short years in Missouri, and then I came back here for just some healing. I'd been through some stuff, family issues, and I just needed to get back to the basics. I lived out here years ago, and I really liked it. So when my husband and I found a house in Paulden, we went ahead and moved in. How can you turn down antelope in the front yard? It's beautiful.
Beautiful area out there. Yeah.
So that's kind of how I came back to here. And I started the publishing business
So that's when you founded Writers publishing house.
Yes.
Here in Yavapai County.
In Yavapai County. I started out ghostwriting.
Okay.
And then as we would finish the client's books or I would edit the books, I would, just kind of send the clients on their way. And then they'd call me back and they'd say, what am I supposed to do? I need help. And one thing led to the next. And I thought, you know what? I might as well put the marbles in my own pocket than giving it to somebody else. And so I just started publishing for my clients that when their books was finished.
So you've been exposed to the publishing industry and book writing through your ghosting.
Yes.
Ghosting is right, of course, writing a book for somebody else or helping somebody else write a book.
Yes.
And then, and that's how you got into it. Then you founded your own company, and you're active here locally as a book publisher.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this. I think some famous writer once said, maybe Somerset Maugham or somebody like that, about everybody has at least one book in them.
Yes.
How do you get a book published? How do you help somebody write a book?
Well, it's a process, and and there's many different ways you can go about it. And some people, they just want to write a book for their family. Other people, I work with a lot of businessmen who use their books as tools for their business. And then I have people who just love to write, and that's what I tell everybody. If that's your passion to write, then write, So I help them if they're a novice person, as you ask how to post a book. So if there's a novice person, we sit down, we do a consultation, we talk about their project, what they have in mind, where they want to go with it, what they want to do with their book. And then we map out a game plan on how to get them from getting the book written to getting it edited, to getting it formatted, to getting the cover designed and get it published.
And you're able to do all of that?
All of that.
Well, let me ask you this. You mentioned business people. What about just the average Joe? Is it expensive? Does it cost a lot to publish a book?
You would be surprised. Now, again, that depends on the situation. If you're writing a book, if you're, a grandparent and you want to write a book for your family, then no. I mean, it's not expensive at all. You're looking at probably a few $1,000s. And most of that expense is going to be in the editing and the writing, and but that depends on whether you are going to write the book yourself and you're going to pay me to edit it, or you want me to ghostwrite your story for you. And then that, of course, that's going to vary in pricing. But as far as publishing goes,
so most people, particularly people my age, they think of a book as something that's in hardcover and it's got 200 or 300 pages, and it's got the imprint of a publishing house, and it's copyrighted, and it's it's something that's physical and tangible, and it costs money to produce. Today, I think the book industry has changed tremendously, and I don't know the details of it, but I know a little bit about it. Many books now come out as paperbacks, and there's just been a lot of changes in the publishing industry. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about that and how that has changed the economics of getting a book published?
Yes. Well, economics, I'm glad you brought that up because that's an important factor in this. Economics is why people started self-publishing or indie publishing, because
indie publishing, that's a term of art now.
That's a term.
Independent publishing,
exactly.
or what we used to call vanity publishing or self-publishing.
Exactly. So traditional publisher, you'd write a book, you'd send it to a publishing company, and you could wait a year and you never heard a thing. They might publish your book, they might not publish your book. They might write you a check up front for a little bit of money up front, and then it might be 10 years before you saw anything. They may say, yes, absolutely, but you need to pay us this much up front, and then we'll take it from here. I've had that happen numerous times. So people started publishing their own books. At first, it was not widely accepted, but now it's really beginning to be commonplace. However, a lot of people that did their self-publishing found out that getting the book published and get it out there in the market, that was the easy part. Then where they failed was the marketing. So that brought in what we call hybrid publishing, which is what I do. So
hybrid meaning both print and... No, not print.
Not print. So hybrid...
Kindle?
No. Hybrid publishing means that you get the advantages of a traditional publisher, but I do all the work for you.
I see.
So you keep all your rights, all your royalties, all of that part. You pay me a fee, whatever we set it on, and I publish your book.
All right. So let me ask you this: is there any money in this kind of publishing? In other words,
Absolutely.
obviously you've had your company for a few years. You're paying your bills,
Since
but
2007.
how do you make money out of this kind of publishing venture?
Oh,
Hybrid publishing.
Yeah. I have authors that they'll make $1,500, $2,000 a month on book sales. I have other
that have worked through your
yes
writers
yes
publishing house.
yes now, and they're published all over the world. Pavan or Al Bors, that's his pen name. He's actually in India. He does very well with his books. The biggest downfall that I tell people, if you're going to write a book, you need to write more than one, because writing one book is very difficult to sell. If you're a prolific author, you're going to sell more books. But that's where you're going to make your money. And then I have other clients that might make $150, $200 a month. It depends on, like anything. It's what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it.
So I happen to know a few local folks who have self-published books, and they tell me that even though these are books that I've never seen on a bestseller list, they're getting little royalty checks, $25 a month, $80 a month, that kind of thing. If they go on a program or something, promote it, they might get $200 or $300 a month for a few months. But it's always something.
Yes.
In other words, there's always some level of
something.
demand.
And it's like anything else, David. If you look at it, and I said this a minute ago, what you put into it is what you're going to get out of it. Most authors that do well, is like any business. A well-written book is going to sell. You can't falter on the writing and the editing part. That's the most important thing, to really get your sales at it. And if you're going to do it, you, like I said, what I learned, jump in with both feet and do it full, all the way. So if you take the time to write the book and get it professionally edited and get your cover designed, most time, if you're going to do pretty well with it. But like you said, it's a good, long-term income, because as long as your book's selling, you're going to continue to get the royalties on your book.
All right. So there's probably a world of people who, some of whom might be watching this show, retirees in particular, that have always had an ambition to write a book, to kind of tell their story or write a book about something that happened to them or something that happened to their family. Maybe they're a Vietnam War vet and they were in some kind of an event, and they've always wanted to tell that story. What do they do? But they're not professional writers.
Right.
What do? They contact somebody like you, and what can you do for them?
Absolutely. So they would contact me. We sit down, have a conversation. If they're in town, I meet a lot of my clients face to face. I like to do that. We can, communicate. We discuss their plan, their project. I give them ideas, what they can do with their book, how they can sell it, how they can promote it, what they can do. Because it's your book, it's not me, but I'm there for guidance.
Well, let me ask you this. Does it cost anything up front for somebody to have a meeting with you and kind of pitch you on their idea?
Nope. I do 1 hour, 60-minute consultations for free. Sometimes they turn into more time, but I do first consultation always for free, because that way they know which way to go. That's
fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. So this is the first installment of what we hope is going to be a regular feature here on Prescott eNews. We're going to call it Book Talk with Lizzy McNett. And what can we expect from you going forward? In other words, how often can we expect to see you, and what's going to be the format of your shows? I'm just here for the introductory show to kind of inform our viewers of what we're going to be doing. But going forward, this is going to be your show. And what can our viewers expect?
So the viewers can expect most likely twice a month. We'll have authors come in, local authors come in, that we sit down and have the same conversation you and I are having. I'm all about promoting the authors. It's all about your success. That's what's important to me. We just talk about your book, who you are a little bit, a quick information about you, and then it gets edited and put out there, and for marketing to help you become successful.
All right. So we should be able to see you again, maybe with a different guest.
Yes.
Maybe somebody more
Yes.
interesting, I
Well,
hope.
I'll have you back too, David.
But in a couple of weeks, we should see you again,
Yes.
and that'll be fantastic. So in the meantime, we're just about out of time today.
We are.
And is there anything locally that's coming up that you want to tell our viewers about that involves
Yes.
books or book publishing?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
I am very excited. I've been just bouncing off the walls. We've set up the very first Chino Valley Author Expo. Nobody's done this before. I am just thrilled. There'll probably be, if there's any Comic-Con fans out there, there'll probably be some people with Comic-Con out there. But I have guest speakers set up, 3 to 4 a day. We have workshops that will deal with
Liz,
writing.
did I understand you correctly that you might have David Stringer as one of your...
I am, yes. I'm working on getting him come in. So
if I can think of anything to say, I'll do it.
Exactly. I'll coach him. But yes, we'll have workshops for writers. I have a music plan, so there'll be local musicians there selling their music, things like that. I just want it to be a fun event for the businesses, the people to come in, and it's just a fun event. It sounds like a fun event.
And when again is it?
June 24th and 25th.
Okay.
From 9 to 4.
And
both
where is
days
it going to be?
At Chino Valley High School. But if you want to contact me in the meantime,
all right,
you can email me at info@writerspublishing.com.
We're going to put that up on the screen. All right. Liz, I want to thank you for coming in today, and we look forward to your new program, and I hope it's a success, and we learn a lot about the book publishing business here in Yavapai County. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
And thank you for watching. Again, this is David Stringer for Prescott eNews, introducing Lizzy McNett with a new feature on Prescott eNews called Book Talk with Lizzy McNett. Thanks again for watching, and Liz will be back in a couple of weeks with a new program. Thanks so much.